चलो, तो आज हमें देखना है कि अगर हमें कोई भी स्टूडेंट की इंफॉर्मेशन डेटाबेस में स्टोर करनी है तो वो हम कैसे कर सकते हैं। सो लेट मी स्टार्ट विद अ वेरी सिंपल प्रोग्राम। अब सी में मुझे प्रोग्राम लिखना पड़ेगा। ओके, सो नाउ द कॉलेज वांट्स टू स्टोर सम बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन about some student. His age is 20, his marks are 85, and he had some roll number and grade. Now think about this. If we want to create a C program for this student information, where will we store all this data? Age needs to be stored somewhere. Marks also needs to be stored somewhere. Roll number, then grade. Okay, and even program cannot simply keep this information floating around, right? So it needs a proper place in memory where this information can be stored and accessed whenever required. And this is exactly where variables comes into the picture. For example, if I write int age is equal to 20, so I am telling the C program, create a variable named age and store the value 20 in it. So just like we use different label boxes in the real world to keep different things organized. जैसे कि एक बॉक्स है, वहां पे हमने 15 टेनिस बॉल रखे हैं, तो 15 टेनिस बॉल ये उसका वैल्यू हो गया, बॉक्स एक कंटेनर हो गया वेरिएबल, और अगर हम उसको कुछ नाम देते हैं, लेबलाइज करते हैं, तो वो हो गया वेरिएबल का नेम. C uses variables to store and identify data in memory. But now a question comes, what exactly is a variable? What does int mean? Why do we write age? And what is the role of 20? So let's understand all of this step by step. And welcome to Code with Clarity by Inspiration. What is a variable? A variable is a named place in memory that stores a value. Simple words में समझते हैं, वेरिएबल एक मेमोरी लोकेशन है जिसका एक नेम होता है और उस मेमोरी लोकेशन में हम कोई भी वैल्यू स्टोर कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, int age is equal to 20. Here, age is our variable and the value stored inside it is 20. But there is one more important thing about a variable. प्रोग्राम रन होने के टाइम हम वेरिएबल की वैल्यू को रीड भी कर सकते हैं एंड चेंज भी कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इनिशियली एज कैन बी 20, later we can update it to 21. So variable is not simply a place where we store data, it is a named memory location whose value can be accessed and updated while the program runs. Let's break this statement into smaller parts. We have int age is equal to 20, semicolon. इस सिंगल स्टेटमेंट में 3 important parts है. First, int, this is the data type. Second, age, this is the variable name. And third, 20, this is the value. Let's understand these 3 parts. Int tells C what kind of a value we want to store. int मतलब होल नंबर्स लिए है. अब डेटा टाइप कौन सा है? अगर हम बॉल्स लेते हैं तो वो काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स है. ओके, अगर हम वाटर बॉटल में पानी स्टोर करते हैं तो वो डेटा फ्लोट टाइप का होगा, फ्लूइड डेटा होगा. वैसे ही इंटीजर डेटा टाइप जो है वो सी को इन्फॉर्म करता है कि हमने इंटीजर वैल्यू स्टोर किया है. एज इज द नेम थ्रू विच वी कैन एक्सेस दैट मेमोरी लोकेशन. नेम है वो मेमोरी लोकेशन का. And 20 is the actual data stored inside that variable. 20 age में हमने store किया है. So whenever we see int age is equal to 20, remember int is a data type, age is variable name, and 20 is a value. These 3 parts together helps us create and use a variable. Now let's come back to our real world example. Why we need variables? We wanted to store the student's age, marks, roll number and grade. Okay, so this is where variable become useful. For age, we can write int age is equal to 20. For marks, int marks is equal to 85. For roll number, int roll number is equal to 12. And for grade, char grade is equal to A. Now each piece of information has its own variable. Okay, this makes our program organized and easy to work with. आप इमेजिन कीजिए अगर हमारे पास वेरिएबल्स ही नहीं होते, then where will we store all this information? That's why variables comes important. They allow a program to hold and work with real information. And as we continue learning C programming, you will see variables almost everywhere. What is a data type? Now we have seen something interesting. For age and marks we used int, but for grade we used char. Why? Because different types of information require different data types. Okay, a data type tells C what kind of a data a variable can store. For example, int used किया है whole numbers के लिए, so value like 20, 50 or 100 can be stored using int data type. Float is used for decimal numbers. For example, 85.5 मार्क्स स्टोर करने हैं मुझे, या फिर किसी चीज का एवरेज या फिर प्राइस 70.5 डेसिमल पॉइंट्स. सो एंड char is used to store a single character. For example, in single quotes A मुझे ग्रेड स्टोर करना था, तो मैंने वो char इस डेटा टाइप में स्टोर किया है. So before creating a variable, we need to tell C what type of a data that variable will store, and that's the job of the data type. Basic data type कौन से है C में? There are 4 basic data types. First is int, which used to store whole numbers. For example, 20. Second है float. It is used to store decimal numbers. For example, 80.5, 85.5 marks. Third is double. Double is used for high precision decimal values. For example, 123, 45.6789. And fourth is char. Char is used to store a single character. For example, in single quote A. So our 4 basic data types are int, float, double and char. These are very important because you will be using them frequently while writing C programs. And notice one more thing. Different data types require different amounts of memory. According to values shows in our presentation, int require 4 bytes, float require 4 bytes, double requires 8 bytes and char requires 1 byte. Double and float में difference ये है कि double हमें large value store करने के लिए help करता है decimal की. So the data type helps C understand not only what kind of a data we are storing, but declaration. First, suppose I write int age semicolon. Here I am declaring a variable called age. In simple words, I am telling C that I need a variable named age. At this point in our example, we haven't given it a value. ओके हमने यहाँ पे कोई भी वैल्यू दी नहीं है, सिर्फ इंट एज जो वेरिएबल का नाम है वो डिक्लेयर किया है. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड अ डिक्लेरेशन. असाइनमेंट क्या है? नाउ सपोज आई राइट एज इज इक्वल टू 20 सेमीकोलन. द वेरिएबल ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्ट्स. ओके, नाउ आई एम पुटिंग अ वैल्यू इनटू दैट वेरिएबल. दिस इज कॉल्ड असाइनमेंट. एज हमने ऑलरेडी डिक्लेयर किया है, अभी मैं सिर्फ एज में 20 वैल्यू स्टोर कर रही हूँ. ये क्या हो गया? डिक्लेरेशन प्लस initialization. So instead of writing these two statements separately, we can simply write int age is equal to 20. यहाँ declaration भी हो गया है और assignment भी हो गया. Okay? We revise everything. A variable is a name memory location that stores a value. A data type defines what kind of a data a variable can hold. And declaration introduces a variable to the program. Initialization gives the variable its first value, and assignment is used to set or update the value of an existing variable. So now the concepts are clear. But programming is not only about understanding the theory. So now let's see all this practically. Let's open our code editor and create our first variable program. Now I have opened my demo folder. Inside this folder, I am creating a new C source file. अब आपको विजुअल स्टूडियो कोड डाउनलोड इंस्टॉलेशन देखना है तो पिछले वीडियो में मैंने वहां पे दिखाया है. यू कैन गो एंड चेक एंड बाय फॉलोइंग द स्टेप you can do install. Okay, so inside this folder I am creating a new C source file. I'll name this file as a variable.c. अब .c क्यों यूज किया है? क्योंकि .c हमारा एक्सटेंशन है C प्रोग्राम के सोर्स कोड फाइल लिखने के लिए. Now let's write our program. First I am including the standard input output header file hash include stdio.h. Then I am creating our main function. Now let's create our variables int. First I will create an integer variable. Then I will write int age is equal to 20. Here int is the data type, age is the variable name and 20 is the value. So we are storing the age as an integer value. Float. Next let's create a float variable. I'll write float percentage is equal to 85.5. Here we are storing a decimal value, so we are using float. Double. Now let's create a double variable. I will write double salary is equal to some decimal large number. Double allow us to store a high precision decimal value. And finally char में हम लिखेंगे char grade is equal to in single quote A. Here the value is a single character, so we are using char. So notice that the character A is written inside single quotes. Character को हम ऐसे लिखते. Now we have created all 4 variables, but simply storing the values is not enough. So let's display them on the screen using printf. Printf एक function है. For age, I'll write printf age is equal to percentage slash n double quotes complete करके comma age. फॉर परसेंटेज हम सेम printf का स्टेटमेंट लिखेंगे. परसेंटेज इज इक्वल टू परसेंट एफ देन स्लैश एन. फॉर सैलरी परसेंट एफ सेम. एंड फॉर ग्रेड सेम printf देन इन डबल कोट्स ग्रेड इज इक्वल टू परसेंट सी स्लैश एन डबल कोट्स कॉमा ग्रेड. एंड लास्ट में हम रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट लिखेंगे. अब यहाँ पे कौन सी चीज का क्या मतलब है? सैलरी इज इक्वल टू डबल कोट्स में हम जो भी लिखते हैं वो एज इट इज प्रिंट होता है. जो भी परसेंट डी परसेंट सी परसेंट एफ आप देख रहे हो वो तो वो फॉर्मेट स्पेसिफायर है. जो भी डेटा टाइप हम लोग देते हैं वो रीड करता है. और सैलरी ग्रेड एज ये तो हमने वेरिएबल नेम पास किए हैं. आगे जाके फंक्शन में हम उसको और अच्छी तरह से सीखेंगे. सो अवर बेसिक प्रोग्राम इज रेडी. Now let's demonstrate one of the most important features of a variable. Remember, variable's value can be changed. Initially we created int age is equal to 20. Now let's update the value of age. So I'll write age is equal to 21. Here we are not creating a new variable. Okay? Notice that. The age variable is already exist. So we are simply assigning a new value to it. And now I will add another printf statement to print that value. Printf age. So when program runs, we should be able to see the original values and also the updated age. Okay. So now our program is complete. We will save this file and now I'll open the terminal. Before we can run a C program, we need to compile it. So I am using GCC to compile our variable.c file. The compilation is successful. Now let's run the generated program. And here is our output. We can see the value of our integer variable. Age is equal to 20. Then we have our float value. We can see the double value. And finally we can see the character value. Grade is equal to 8. And at the end we have updated value of age is equal to 21. So notice what happened here. Initially our age variable contained 20. Then we assign a new value 21 and the updated value is displayed in the output. So this is exactly what we mean when we say that the variable's value can be changed while the program is running. So with this simple program, we have practically seen how variables store data, how different data types are used, and how a variable's used value can be updated. Let's quickly summarize today's video. We started with a real world example where we needed to store student information. When we understood what a variable is, we learned the three important parts of a variable: data types, variable, name, and value. We understood why variables are needed in program. Then we learned about the four basic data types: int, float, double, and char. After that, we understood the difference between declaration, assignment, and initialization. And finally, we implemented this concept in a practical C program. We created four variables, displayed their values, and then updated the value of each. So now you have both the conceptual understanding and practical understanding of a C program using variables. That's all for today's video. I hope this real world example and practical demonstration helped you understand variables in C programming more clearly. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Code with Clarity by Inspiration. Keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep coding with clarity. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding!